भाइयों और बहनों नमस्कार। It's very humbling to come to Ludhiana, amidst a very august audience. Delhi is being controlled by people from Ludhiana, be it Sunil Bharti Mittal or Munjal family. I have had this wonderful privilege of conducting sessions over the past 12 years. I thank Sandwani Sahib for giving me this wonderful opportunity along with Mr. Goyal and Mr. Vadera and Mr. Singhal to be on the dais. A brief introduction I will add on. So some of you are a little bit confused. Batras are Punjabis, but from a long stretch I don't look like a Punjabi. Very often people wonder, even yesterday when I was to be received by the gentleman who had come to receive me, he was looking for Batra, and first they don't know कि हिंदी Punjabi क्या बोल रहा है, because people take me to be a Japanese or a Korean, right, very often. Nepali, yes. We're all the same race, the Mongolians, isn't it, right? And the reason is because my mother was Japanese. My father actually went to the States in '58 to study, and that's where he met my mother. My mother had come from Japan to study. And my father had gone from here in '58. Took him, I think, 40 days to reach the US. And my grandfather, Dadaji, was in the railways. So a typical middle-class boy got a chance, went to the States. There was no internet, no telephone. And that's where he met my mother. My Nanaji served for the Imperial Navy of Japan. And obviously by then, Japan was a country that was declared to be a lost country. So, पढ़ाई की थोड़ी बहुत उन्होंने, and थोड़ा बहुत हम पे मेहनत की, and here I am, the first joint venture between the Indians and the Japanese. Hero Honda happened much later. I was born in Japan in '62, and I came to India in '67, and I grew up in India from '67 to 1983, and then I went to the States. And I have no shame in saying that India was in a pathetic condition when I was growing up. I think licensed Raj had done the worst it could have done. The Indians as such had a very low sense of self-esteem. We had stupid policies and licensed Raj prevented competition. People who had licenses didn't have to work, and people who wanted to work were not allowed to work. And it was a very depressing situation, I remember. Now when I look at my kids, now both my kids, my son is 18, he's pursuing B.Tech in mechanical from Vellore, my daughter is doing ECE. Although both have US passports, they were born in the US and they were 5 and 3 when they came here. They have no desire to go back to America, because they see so much here in India. But back in the 70s and 80s, only few Indians would stay back. Indians would get into IITs or become chartered accountants or become doctors, would stay back. Others had to go somewhere, is it not? And I fell in the other category. And that's how I ended up in the US. From there on I went to Japan and worked for a Japanese investment bank for 12 years. But I got a lot of grounding from my father, to Japanese investment bank for 12 years. But I got a lot of grounding from my father, Dr. Pramod Batra. In fact, Mr. Vadera was talking about a poster. Where is Mr. Vadera? Yeah, the poster was, the mind and the parachute work only when they're open. Right? Imagine if you jump off the plane and the parachute doesn't open, what happens? Right? Very painful. And he worked very hard for a great company called Escorts at that time, 1963 to 1996. For 33 years, he worked very, very hard. And in my formative years, since I was not very good in studies, my father would take me along to the factories of Escorts at a very young age. I remember my first training happened when I was in 7th standard, because my father figured early on, कि मेरा पुत्र पढ़ेगा नहीं. So he got me into working. I remember going to various dealerships and doing packing, unpacking. Every summer vacation was booked in some dealership. पेटियां खोल रहा हूँ, उसे से parts निकाल रहा हूँ, parts पहुँचा रहा हूँ. Because it was very vibrant organization as far as back at that. Everybody wanted to work. The ones who were working. Okay, there were some people who didn't work. Right? And I kept, hearing from my father one thing, पुत्र हड्डारामी नहीं बनना तूने, हड्डारामी मीन की जिसकी हड्डियां ना चले, दिमाग तो वही चला रहा, कम से कम हड्डियां तो चला ले. And that made a very strong impact. And I think when I went to Japan also, I think one thing that really made me successful in a very competitive investment banking environment was the fact is I would work hard. Work hard का मतलब क्या है? जरूरी काम जो करने का दिल ना करे, उसको करना, उसको hard work में मानता हूँ. And it's been a privilege for the past 12 years. And one thing that I really now want is, especially young Indians, you should work hard. What saddens my heart is, rich families, prosperous, their sons buying expensive cars, getting drunk and killing others. That breaks my heart, right? Yesterday the gentleman who picked me up from the station, just see. So that's my one point question I ask. Wherever a city I go, wherever I get picked up, I ask about the children of rich people. And I might be, यहाँ पे मेरे बच्चों का क्या हाल है? तो पहले तो ये मेरे को देख के कंफ्यूज की यार, एक तो ये जापानी पंजाबी निकला के सवाल ही तो मुझे लगता है. मैं कहा क्या हाल है अमीरों के बच्चों का यहाँ पे है? And then he started to open up. Recently there was a case, a BMW was being driven by some rich kid with 4 friends, overturned. They didn't get hurt. But when a cop came, this kid who was driving came out and he just shoot away the cop. कि भाग जाए यहाँ से, तेरे एसपी को बुलाऊंगा, सारी गाड़ी 80 लाख की मेरी है, तुझे क्या? And when I hear that, that pains me. That's criminal. Your father alone did not make all that money, although I'm a very hardcore capitalist. He had the vision, he had this gift and hard work, but there were many other people who worked with your father to make you and your company big. You can't take this for granted. You have no right. But those companies, where the young generation who belong to the promoter family is not aware of this responsibility, I think will perish. Fortunately, my son doesn't have that challenge because father doesn't have that much money. अक्सर मेरी बीवी कहती है आप दुनिया को मोटिवेट ही करते रहोगे. Because in Delhi, we Punjabis are very pretentious. किसी भी पार्टी में चले जाओ, जो अमीरों की औरतें आती हैं ना, यूं करके आती हैं, और माने का क्या हाल है, और हर अंगूठी में ना 70-80 लाख का माल होता है. And they think that money alone is going to show them who they are, which is so sad. The moment they open their mouth, you realize the only thing that shines is on the outside, nothing inside. And that's the reason why I really look up to people like Sudha Murthy ji, the wife of Narayana Murthy. If some of you, especially ladies here, must be, we Punjabis are very hard working, but we also should now start picking up the book. I'm more Punjabi than Japanese. I really associate myself with Punjab a lot, although my Punjabi very muddy heavy. But what pains me is the amount of liquor that you consume in Punjab. Why are you drinking so much? मतलब दारू पी के गिद्दा पा के एंड पे इंडस्ट्री बनती है. It saddens me. Why can't Punjab be respected the way Gujarat is being respected? Why aren't auto companies coming to Punjab instead of going all the way to Sanand in Gujarat? Because we're too close to the Pakistan border? I don't think so. Gujarat will be possible. But anyway, I think all of us, I presume, I think 80% of you and I are from the middle class families. Because, I was standing here and there was a discussion going on, and one gentleman said it was very nice, Ludhiana has come at 10 o'clock. And then one other gentleman checked in, ये promoter class meeting, उनके employee है. And that also, really makes me wonder कि अगर promoter नहीं आएगा क्योंकि पार्टियां बाजी करेगा तो कब तक कंपनियां चलाएगा. अभी इंडिया में some of these guys will still succeed because corruption हो रही है. पर जैसे जैसे corruption कम होगी ना, जो promoter discipline नहीं होगा वो demote होना ही होना है उसको. One thing I picked up in Japan, if they feel that the family is not qualified to run a company, they'll just move on. They'll just remain a trustee. They'll hire somebody else to run the company. And that's the reason why some groups like escorts have gone down, and Munjals have done very, very, very up and up and up. But my real desire is that the new generation that's about to take over from the elder generation of Munjal family also has the same humility and intensity to work hard. I sure hope so. Or else, somebody else will take over. Now, for all of us who are from the great Indian middle class, I think we have a bright future. My son is doing B.Tech in mechanical. Oh, one of the days when he becomes an entrepreneur, he will give a run of the money to any established family. Why? Because he has hunger. He doesn't care about expensive cars. He wants to build them. वो भूख बड़ी जरूरी है. Would you agree? Now, अपने भविष्य को चुनना और सही आकार देना, ये आपके लिए सबसे बड़ी ताकत है. Now in Japan, they never wish each other best of luck. क्या कहते हैं? Do your best. Gambatte kudasai. It pains me in a country like India, where we have such powerful wisdom, we talk about luck. मतलब दिल्ली में तो हर हफ्ते एक नई स्कीम आती है कि काले कुत्ते को हर मंगलवार को बाजरे की रोटी देना, पर जब बाजरे की रोटी दे रहे हो तो उसका चेहरा पूरब की तरफ होना चाहिए. इससे क्या होगा? हाँ जी, मेरी बीवी ने भी 21 वर्ष रखे थे. शिव जी का रिजल्ट देखो आप, सीधी छुट्टी पे गए वैसे. मतलब पुखराज, मोगा, पता नहीं क्या क्या बैन लेते हैं. Is it not yes or no? Sheer nonsense, is it not? Yes or no? And then we have Nirmal Baba ji भी देंगे, समोसे खिला के देंगे. मतलब जहाँ कृष्ण जी जैसे अवतार आए हैं और उन्होंने कर्म पे फोकस किया है, how can you and I do things that we do sometimes? बिल्कुल ठीक कहा आपने गोयल साहब. You have to have passion. No जी. The first question for all of us, for all of you sitting there, can you see the screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, later on you can come here also. मेरे जापानी बॉस ने मुझसे ये सवाल पूछा था. अब जापानी कंपनी में नौकरी हमने कैसे ली? वही जुगाड़बाजी कर खोल के कौन के जुगाड़ तो आता है, क्यों नहीं? पंजाबियों को जुगाड़ आता है. मतलब पहली मीटिंग में तो ऐसा इंप्रेशन देते हैं कि आप तो सीख पे काम आएगा, फिर देखो क्या करके देखते हैं. जीरो पीपीएम तो हमारा स्टैंडर्ड है. क्यों जी? बातें करवा लो किसी मर्जी. तो प्रॉब्लम सर 200% गारंटी है. ये बताओ जी, अगला भी कंफ्यूज होता है कि 100% तो है, तू 200 पे कर. मौका तो दो. तो नौकरी तो ले ली, पर पहले दिन ही समझ में आ गई ये बदले बहुत ज्यादा तूने पंगा ले लिया है, ये जापानी छोड़ेगा नहीं तेरे को. और जो मेरा बॉस था, माय गुडनेस, टास्क मास्टर टू द कोर, बट नाउ आई एम सो हैप्पी ही वाज देयर. पहले दिन ही आ गया जी, व्हाई डू यू वर्क? एंड आई हैड नो आंसर, एंड ही गेव मी एन आंसर व्हिच टुक मी अ व्हाइल टू अंडरस्टैंड. सिंपल, टू बिकम अ बेटर. If you and I are not becoming better while we are working, then obviously we are wasting our salary. Is it not yes or no? फिर उसने पूछा बेटर का क्या मतलब है? एंड फिर मैंने एमडीए मांगना शुरू कर दी. लिप सर्विस में तो पंजाबी में हटता नहीं चाहिए, पर नॉनसेंस. मैं कहा चलो आप ही बता दो. पंजाबी में एक और खासियत है, तो मान भी जाता है मैं गलती बोलता हूँ. This is better means you are improving your ability to help others. Unless you improve your ability to help others, you are not better. If you are able to help your subordinates, if you are able to help your seniors, if you are able to help your father or your mother or your wife or your husband or your children, you are better. You are. Driving a better car doesn't make you better. Wearing better clothes doesn't make you better. Right? Yes or no? If I am carrying a Mont Blanc pen, but what I write is not helping somebody who's reading it, then that Mont Blanc pen obviously is better compared to a Luxor pen, but is it doing its job? When the pen doesn't do its job, like Goel Sahib said, it's a human being who does it, is it not? How many of you are married? Raise your hands. भूल गए. कई लोग इधर उधर देख के हाथ खड़ा कर रहे हैं. The question is, why did you get married? If somebody were to ask you. Because objectives have to be very clear. Because unless objectives are unclear, passion can at times be misplaced. Passion की कमी नहीं है हमारे पंजाबी में, क्योंकि objective ही clear नहीं है. Objectives को clear करोगे तभी तो passion को channelize करेंगे. Is it not yes or no? कभी पंजाबी किसी की बारात में नाच के देख के जापानी सोचेगा इसको रख देते हैं, बड़ा एनर्जेटिक है, नॉट रियलाइजिंग कि ये शॉप फ्लोर में ये हिलेगा नहीं जब तक इसको दो बैग ना दिए जाएंगे। बहुत माइंड द काइंड ऑफ एनर्जी पंजाबी हैव आफ्टर टू बैग, मतलब ऐसे मतलब इतना तो मालूम नहीं कोई मशीन भी कर पाए एक बंदा कर लेते होंगे। सो मच एनर्जी, इज इट नॉट? यस और नो? और when they are fighting with each other, my goodness, गुरु गोविंद सिंह ने कहा था कि एक बंदे को 1.25 लाख के साथ लड़ाना है, पर भैया किस बात के लड़ते हो तो सोचो, बात बात पे मतलब आता पे क्यों, बात बात पे गाली करो, ऊर्जा क्यों जी? ऑब्जेक्टिव कभी कभी क्लियर नहीं होते ना हमारे जीवन में, क्यों जी? शादी का मूल उद्देश्य क्या है? टू क्रिएट एन अमेजिंग फैमिली, ब्रैकेट में क्या है? बेटर चिल्ड्रन। एवरी फैमिली जिनके बच्चे उनसे अच्छे हैं वो तरक्की कर रहा है जी, क्यों जी? ये तो फिर बहादुर शाह जफर वाला हाल होगा, रंगून में पड़ा रो रहा होगा। अगर आपके और मेरे बच्चे हमसे आगे ना बढ़े, इन व्हाट एरिया? इन द कैपेसिटी टू हेल्प, only when you help others can you get joy and money, is it not? Yes or no? Now one thing I would like to tell all of us, especially the youngsters here, stop watching India TV or some of these trashy channels. Watching pornography is fine, I think, it's okay. But watching India TV, bad. आस्था तो उससे भी खराब है। सुबह उठते ही अगर आप आस्था देख लो और क्या बोल रही है वो, तनाव ना लो तो क्या ले मैं पता। Don't tell me what not to do, tell me what to do. तूने तो अपने माँ बाप की भी जिम्मेवारी भाई बहनों पे छोड़ दी है, कोई टारगेट नहीं है ना, तूने बच्चे पैदा किए हैं, तो जो मर्जी बोली जा, हमें बता। हमारे पिताजी माताजी वृद्ध हो रहे हैं, बच्चे जवान हो रहे हैं, कंपनी का अलग टारगेट है, और तू कह रही तनाव ना लो तो क्या ले? अच्छा, जो मेडिटेशन सिखा रहे हैं हमारे देश में, उनको सबको जेल में बंद कर दो। The most stupid thing I think is to meditate. 7 घंटे अगर बंदा सो जाए फिर बताओ, तो फिर सुबह उठ के फिर घंटा फिर सोना आपने उठ के। ठीक है, suppose if you have not been able to sleep because you had some challenge, some work pressure, so you could only sleep for an hour or 2 hours, okay, then दिन में 1 घंटा चलो सो जाओ। पर तो 7 घंटे लंबा पड़ा रहा है, डीप ब्रीथिंग करता रहा है, और अब देखो एक वो भी आया बाबा रामदेव, वो भी मखौल ही है पूरा, because so many people follow him, they think right, he is wrong. He has no business talking about corruption. If anybody should be talking about corruption, it should be people like Sridharan Saab, who made the metro in Delhi. अगर आप कभी दिल्ली आए, क्यों जी? क्या मेट्रो बनाई है? He has the authority to talk about corruption because he has dealt with it. But not Ramdev और अन्ना हजारे ठीक है to some extent, but he is a novice. बनाया क्या उन्होंने? एक गांव बनाया, ठीक है, but he should not be talking about dealing with corruption at national level. Why I say that is, you should not get involved in some of these things at all, and no meditation. क्यों? 7 घंटे सोले, अब सुबह उठ के धंधे के बारे में सोचो, प्लानिंग करो, जैसे कि कहा था गोयल साहब ने, क्यों उसके एग्जीक्यूशन के बारे में सोचो, मतलब प्लानिंग अपने लेवल पे करो, क्यों नहीं? एक जूनियर आदमी अपने बॉस की प्लानिंग करने को तैयार है, इसे क्यों? Now why do you work? To become a better person. Why did you get married? To create better children, basically, is it not? मेरा मानना है जीवन में अगर आपने और मैंने ग्रो करना है, पैशन बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं गोयल साहब, पर 2 चीजें और चाहिए। एक होना चाहिए टॉर्मेंटर जी, और एक होना चाहिए मेंटर। टॉर्मेंटर ना होना तो पैशन का क्या फायदा? फिर तो पैशन है बहुआ, डू बैड फील बैड, नहीं डू बैड फील बैड, डू गुड फील गुड, डू ग्रेट फील ग्रेट। भाई कईयों ने अपना नुकसान निकाला हुआ है, डू बैड पौवा फील ग्रेट। अब कई लोग शाम को पौवा खोल के बैठते हैं, मैं बता हाउ कैन यू जस्टिफाई दिस पौवा? तूने आज दिन में किया ही क्या? व्हाट वैल्यू एडिशन हैव यू डन? हैव यू बीन एबल टू गेट अ मेजर पेमेंट दैट वाज ब्लॉक्ड? Have you got a major order, or have you been able to overcome some challenge on the production line for which you are celebrating? What have you done to deserve this पौवा? बताओ जी, रोज ही पौवा, रोज ही पौवा। अरे आजकल तो सब लोग खंबे पे पहुंचे हुए हैं। अब ये देखिए ना, आस्था चैनल, राखी सावंत का इंसाफ, राहुल महाजन का स्वयंवर, ऐसे प्रोग्राम देखने से दिमाग खराब ही होना क्यों नहीं? But now we have some amazing things that we should see. Have you heard about TED.com, TED.com? TED.com is an amazing resource of videos from all over the world that is putting every day. TED.com, and you can see things, videos of speeches being made, seminars being conducted on any topic. TED.com.